So you may have noticed a lack of content over the last few weeks, and that is because, well, one, the holidays hit us, and that's always a busy time for me. And then two, we've got some renovations going on in the studio, so painting and redoing carpets and moving furniture. So the game tables are out of commission right now. And what that means, unfortunately, is anything that I had on the game tables, I had to take down. So that was the US Civil War and Mr. Madison's War are back in the box for now. They're both back in the box. I may get back to Mr. Madison's War. If I do, I'll probably restart the game instead of continuing on. I don't know if I'll try to recreate where I was at with that. But I will eventually get back to it. I hope so. Hopefully, we won't be down too much longer. I've got a lot of things planned for the upcoming year. A lot of things I want to get to. I'm not going to get to all of them because I have so much. I do have several conventions coming up this year. I do plan on attending. I am going to be at Fort Circle, DC, or Circle DC as it's called. I plan on going to Buckeye Game Fest, hopefully for the entirety. I hope to be there the entire time. And I'm going to try to make, well, I'm not going to try to make Origins. I will be at Origins again. And we'll hopefully have a special announcement on what I'm going to be running at Origins. So you're looking right now at a tabletop simulator. And I thought instead of just not putting out any content, I at least could put something out, and it's easy to do with Tabletop Simulator. There's no tables required. It's all digital, and I can just come in here and what we are going to do is just do a quick playthrough or few turns anyway of Space Empires 4X. Now I have run this several times at Origins. I played this many times and I will make mistakes. I could play tic-tac-toe and record it and probably still make mistakes. So when I do, point those out down below as usual. That's appreciated. So I thought, yeah, let's go ahead and get back into the tabletop simulator world, and at least I can put something out there. And with the impending release of All Good Things with Space Empires, then maybe this will help some people get into the game and want to learn it and to learn it. Hopefully, this will make it a little bit easier. So I will be playing with the basic rules. We just start off with a basic game. And like I said, I have everything set up here in Tabletop Simulator ready to go. This is the two-player scenario. And if you're very familiar with this game, you will recognize the fact that this is actually upside down from what they recommend in the game. I wanted the blue and the yellow player in this, so I just flipped the board. It's not basically, but it is the same number of counters for the home system, the deep space markers, and again the yellow home system down here. So all the counters, long as the counter long as the counter count is where it's supposed to be, we're good. So I have marked it off with this gray border to show this is the area in play. The yellow player gets an extra hex out here because of the way that the map is set up. There's 26 of these for the blue. So to give the yellow player 26, you've got to include one of these half hex markers. So that's what is done here. So we will start off with the standard setup for the home fleets, which is you get 3 scouts, 3 colony ships, a miner, and a shipyard, which I believe is at level 4. There's 4 shipyards here. So if you played Space Empires, you know that these numbered markers under the counters represent how many ships that are there. So if we look at this scout, for instance, there is a 1, meaning there is 1 scout in scout group number 1. Now, normally when you play this game, if you're playing it opposed with an actual opponent, these counters would all be flipped. At least the ones would be flipped that have this uh, counter under them. I think, let's see, the colony ships, no. So the colony ships wouldn't be flipped, but these ships would be flipped. So you would have, and I just flipped the whole stack. So let's do this real quick. Is there not one under there? Yeah, there is one under there. So what you would normally have if you were playing opposed, and in the beginning, it doesn't matter too much because you know what your opponent has. You start off with the same things. So what you would have, though, if you're playing it opposed, is you would have these markers underneath this generic ship marker. So if you look at this, if you got a game that's in progress and you saw, let's say, this unit was just coming into your area, didn't know what it was, you would see this. But underneath there would be this numbered marker that would indicate how many of these ships are there. So in this case, there's 1 scout. You know, if they were like that, there'd be 2 scouts. This can go up to, I don't know if there's a maximum number of how many you can have in a ship counter. Let's check that real quick. I think it is limited by the number. So maybe it's 5, 6. So maybe it's 6. Maybe you can have 6 ships in a group. But anyway, since we're not playing this opposed, we're just going to have these as they're supposed to be. So we'll just have the scouts shown like that. Again, you start off with a homeworld. The yellow homeworld is here, 20 construction points for your income, and we'll talk about that when we hit the income phase. The Terrans are up here. They also have 20. They have, you can see they have the same number of ships to start with. They have their 3 colonies, their 3 scouts, their miner, and their shipyard. We have some housekeeping stuff up here. This would be your production sheet. So here you're going to monitor or count your income. So if you look at that first column there, carryover from last turn 0, under that you get construction points will be earned from colonies that you own, minerals that you get, the MS pipeline and the advanced rule if you had those, when we don't have those here. And then you're going to pay maintenance on your ships. You're going to bid for turn order. You'll spend on technologies and building new things, and then that will give you your remaining construction points, and then that would be your new carryover into the second column there. Down below that, you see your technology progression, so you can buy technologies and track those at the bottom there to keep track of your ships. With that said, this ship technology sheet is where you'll actually keep track of the counter and what technology is under that counter. So if you look at the top, you see scout number 1, and these are all default levels when we start playing. But if you look at scout number 1 there, it has the attack, the defense, the tactics, and the movement, and then some other stuff. So any ship that's under scout number 1 has to have the same attack, the same defense, the same tactics. So if we were, let's say we just got a new technology level attack 1, and we still had the old scout ships out there, but we built a new scout ship. Well, that new scout ship with the attack value 1 would have to go under a brand new counter because the existing counters are all the baseline technology. So you have to have your ships all have to match in technology that are under the counters. You are limited in this game by the number of counters that the game provides. So you can see there's 5 scout counters. So if you had 5 separate scout counters out there and you wanted to build another one, you would have to scuttle one of those existing counters to build the new fleet. And this is the player reference card, which has just information about the types of ships you can build, your colonies, carriers, those kinds of things. So this is a good sheet to look at to determine, what's it going to cost you to build one of these things, what's the hull size, what's the maintenance, and then some notes on what they're capable of doing. And I think that is it as far as reference goes. I just repeat down here for the yellow side. There are some extra counters down here that we'll pull from as we play this. And over here is the turn marker, the turn track. We'll start with turn 1, and then we will go through 3 turns of movement, exploration, and combat. Then once you hit the end of 3 turns, you'll come back into your economics phase, and then we'll just completely start over again. This is a battle board that I created. I don't know if I created this or got it off of Board Game Geek, but this is what I use when I play the game at Origins. We use this battle screen chart here for conducting our battles. We've got some dice rollers here and some D10s here that we can use to conduct battle, which we will hopefully see at some point. So I'm just going to jump into this. Again, this is, I haven't been in Tabletop Simulator in a while, so I may have some interface struggles. Just bear with me. Also, with the studio being in disarray, then I'm going to have to just go with whatever audio quality I've got. So bear with me. We'll have things back up and running, hopefully, in a matter of weeks. Hopefully. So let's go ahead and start. Now, when you start this game, you randomly determine who's going to be the first player. We could do that. So let's see. What we could do is grab just a D10 over here. We'll grab the blue one because why not? We'll put it in the dice roller. So let's say, since this is a 2-player game, and again, there's 26 home markers for each player, and there are 17, I believe, deep space markers. And so let's say 1 through 5, it'll be the blue player, and then 6 through 10 will be the yellow player. Zeros are 10s in this game. So let's roll. And we roll a 1, so that's going to mean that the blue player will be the one to go first. And let's see, do we actually have a sequence of play on this? I don't think we do. No, I don't see one. So basically, the sequence of play is going to be player 1 will move to conduct any combat, then explore the hex they've entered. And player 2 will do the same thing. We'll go through 3 of those turns and then have an economic phase. So what's going to happen is the first thing that the player is going to do, the player that has the initiative will do movement first. Now, in the beginning of the game, all ships can move 1 hex per turn. As you increase your technology, the scouts and other ships will be able to increase their speed to whatever you increase that technology to. And then the colony ships, they'll always get to move 1, the miner ships. So colony ships and miners will only get to move 1 no matter what your technology is. They're just big, bulky, slow ships. So let's go ahead and start. Let's just dive into this and we will go ahead and move. Again, the gray border shows which hexes are in play. So these half hexes are out of play. So we are going to move. Now, the home markers are relatively safe. So when you're playing this game, it's your scouts are definitely going to move out. Whether you choose to have a colony ship go with them, that's probably a little bit risky, but it's not as risky as if you were in these white deep space markers. So what we're going to do first is we are going to move our scout ships out. So I'm going to move, this one's going to go into this hex. This one's going to go into this hex, and I think we'll just have this other scout ship. Whoops. And I put these markers under these counters. I may remove them if they become a challenge. Like I said, we don't need them for playing this solitaire. So I'm just going to move, this one's going to come out with this scout ship. So we'll have these two move into this hex. This scout's going to move into this hex. I'm not going to move any of my colony ships yet. So that's going to be my movement. Now, one other thing, you cannot move into an unexplored hex from more than 1 hex away. So you have to start adjacent to an unexplored hex to explore it. And here that works because we started in our home world, which is adjacent to these unexplored hexes. So we moved. The next thing we would do is combat. If there were enemy ships in these hexes, we would conduct combat. And then 3, we would reveal or explore these hexes. So let's go ahead and reveal them now. So we simply just flip the counter, start up here. So that's a mineral. And so that's good. What this is, we can send a miner ship out to pick up that mineral, bring it back to our homeworld, and get 5 construction points instantly once it returns. So that's going to help us do research and build things. Now, it would have been nice here to see, I could have sent that miner ship with one of the scouts and hoping that would encounter something like this. Same thing with a colony ship. I could have sent a colony ship with a scout, hoping that there would be a world that I could colonize here. I chose not to. So in other words, this is why in the sequence of play, there's a specific order in which you do things. It's move, combat, then explore. So now that I've discovered this, I can't go back and say, oh, okay, well, I want to bring the miner over now on this turn. Can't do that because you've already conducted your movement. We are currently in the exploration phase of this. So we'll just leave that there. That won't go away. We'll have to bring that back with our miner, and we'll come down here and reveal this unknown marker. Another mineral. Should have sent a miner out with them. So we have conducted movement. We have conducted combat, even though there wasn't any. So we skipped that, and then we explored. And that's it for player number 1, or the blue player. So we do the same thing now for the yellow player. So same thing. He's got 2 hexes he can explore. So let's just bring out this scout, and we will bring out this scout. Unfortunately, in Tabletop Simulator, these hexes are huge, and I have room to bring these counters out and not stack them. We're not going to bring out any colony ships or the miner yet. So not an aggressive play. I think if you're playing opposed and you're really competing with an actual player, you would probably want to risk your colony ships and your miners. Because like I said, the home markers are relatively safe. So let's flip the first one. We're in the exploration phase. Mineral 5. So I did randomly pull these. These are not set up in any way. I just randomly pulled them from the bag. And it's like up here. So this is how I pulled the deep space markers. I just randomly drew them. And when you draw one of these, you don't know what it is. So if you draw a marker, it comes out. I don't know if I can grab one here. It comes out so that you can't tell what it is. So that's what I did. I have no idea what's under these. So the other one, let's explore. A black hole. And I just talked about how safe home system markers are. I didn't say they were totally safe though. So when you pull this, you look up in the rule book. It has 6.0 in the rule book is exploration. You'd look up a black hole and it tells you a unit that moves into a hex containing a black hole must pause movement and check for survival Each ship in a group must be checked out individually. Now, unfortunately, I brought 2 scouts into this, so each of these scouts will have to undergo a survival check here. And the way that works is we're going to roll a d10 for each one. On a roll of 1 to 6, the ship will survive. On a roll of 7 to 10, the ship is destroyed in the black hole. So we will do that now. And now there are ways around this. So if we had the technology that let us peek into an adjacent unexplored hex before we moved into it, that would have saved us here. But again, we're starting off and we are at base technology here. So unfortunately, that was the hex that had 2 ships in it. So let's go ahead and roll for each of those. What do we were yellow? So let's grab the yellow D10. And I'm going to roll. Oops, I don't want to do that. Let's go ahead and delete that. I'm going to roll 2 of these, 1 for each ship. So again, we're looking for 1 through 6 ships survive. 7 through 10, they do not. So let's see what we get. Ships 1 and 2. Well, okay. This is not good for the yellow player. A 7 and an 8 means that both of those ships were destroyed in a black hole. So we are going to just take these 2 ships and we will move them off the board. They have been destroyed. This marker will come back off. It's done. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. This one does remain. I believe. Let me look up in the rules here real quick. Yeah, the black hole does remain for the remainder of the entire game. So anytime a ship enters the black hole, it would have to roll for survival. Now, one thing I will say about this is that the yellow player's homeworld is here. So what this does do is this acts as a actual defensive area. If the blue player gets down here, he's going to have to come through here to attack the yellow player homeworld. Now, he doesn't have to. He could come through here, but if he does, every ship that enters here is going to have to go through that survival check. So it's not all that bad for the yellow player. It is kind of a bad start, though, but we're going to go with it. So that is it. That was player 2's turn, and we will now go, let's see. So, and I should have been tracking this on the turn track here. So, well, I guess I did. It's already in turn 1. So that was player 2's turn. Player 1 and 2 each had a chance to move, combat if it was there, and then explore. So once all the ships have done that, we have completed the first turn, and we now go into the second turn. And when you go to the second turn, it just repeats. And so here we are going to go back to the blue player since he had the initiative. And we are going to do our movement phase again first. So let's start with this scout's going to now move to, oops, this is going to drive me nuts. This scout's going to move into this hex. This scout will move into this hex. This scout will move into this hex. And now we're still moving. So now I want to take my miner ship and he's going to move into this hex. And the colony ships, now that I know these 2 hexes are safe, I'm going to move the colony ships out just to start advancing them so that we don't lose any valuable time in getting those out into space to colonize discovered worlds. So in order to get the mineral back, the way that's going to work is when the miner ship goes to move next time, he'll just put this mineral on top of the ship and then take it back to the homeworld where you can cash it in. You can only carry 1 mineral per miner. So this one could not pick up that mineral and then come over here and pick up the other one, then go back. It's one at a time. So it's kind of slow. So that's going to be the movement for the blue player. No combat. And in this case, we do have some revealing to do again. So let's start up here. We'll reveal this tile first. Another mineral. So that's good. This tile. Okay, this is I don't think I've seen a start quite like this. And then this one is a world that they can colonize. So that's Bethel, and that's why we move these colony ships out, because we want to colonize them as quickly as possible. So we have moved, we have revealed, and we are done with the blue player. So we come back down to the poor yellow player, and we are going to move this scout ship. We'll just move into this hex. Let's go ahead and bring out the miner, and I dropped his counter. So we brought the miner out. Let's bring out all the colony ships to get them moved out because we're going to need it. And so we move, there's no combat, and now we go to exploration. So we only have 1 to flip. And fortunately for the yellow player, there's a colonizable world there, so that's good. So they won't be quite as far behind losing those 2 scout ships as they were. So there's another round of move, combat, and exploration. Now we go to turn number 3. We do it again. So let's go back up here to the blue player. And I'm going to move, this scout is going to move into this hex. This one, let's come down to here. And this one will go into this hex. And the colony ship will bring into here. So when we do this, we announce that our intent is to colonize. We don't have to, but we're certainly going to here. You state, I'm going to colonize Bethel. You place your colony ship on top of that to note that fact. And then as we progress in the economics phase, your colonies will grow. And okay, so let's go ahead and continue moving. I'm going to move this miner is now going to move the mineral back to the home world. And when he does that, we can now count this 5 towards our construction points. So as soon as you move the mineral back to a colony or your home world, then you get to claim those 5 minerals. And what that means is up here, when you're going through your production sheet, your mineral income will be put here. So what we could do is go ahead and enter 5 now, showing that we have hauled back this 5 marker, and we can just put this out of play. Actually, let's just keep it with the blue player to show that we collected that. So that was the miner bringing back the mineral. Now he cannot move again, so he's moved his 1 hex, so we can't move him again out to here. We have 2 colony ships left that we can move. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this one forward and this one forward. And so now I believe I am done moving. There's no combat, so now we go to reveal. Let's start up here. It's another planet that we can colonize, and we've got this one to reveal. Another mineral-rich space, and then we've got another one here, and it's really mineral-rich space. That is going to be a busy miner for a while. Crazy. A little unusual. I've never played a 2-player game, and it's maybe the way that the home markers are laid out in such a narrow space that we're encountering all these minerals like this. But like I said, this is kind of built this way in that your home system markers are not that bad. So we're actually done moving now. The blue player, move, combat, and explore. So now we'll come down here to the yellow player, and we'll do this for the 3rd and final time. Let's move our scout this way. Our miner, let's move him forward to, well, let's move him. Yeah, we'll move him forward to Valhalla here. Bring a colony ship in, declare that we will colonize that world. And I think I just have combining turned on for this game. That's why you see them disappear like that. And these 2 colony ships will move forward. So I didn't really want to move the colony ship. I forgot that the mineral was here. So actually what happened was the miner picked that up, and let's see, he dragged it back to the home world, where, as we saw, we can now just drag this off the board, and we will show player number 2 as actually having brought back 5 minerals. So this is a bit of a spreadsheety game. It's not too bad, though. It's certainly worth the effort to go through that to play this game. So we have moved. There's no combat, so we'll now reveal the system marker here. And it's another mineral, so that's good. And now we are done with movement, combat, and exploration for the yellow player, which things are not looking too good for. And that brings us to the end of those first 3 turns. And then we go into what's called the economics phase. And so the way this is going to work, you step through it just like it says here. And the rules are very clear in this game. Good rule book. So read along as you play it, and you'll have no problems learning how to play this thing. So collect colony income first. And each player does this. And it's better if they do it simultaneously. But for this purpose, we'll do it individually. So we have 20 for our home world. And if you look at your counters, they will tell you what the CP is. Here it's 20. And so that's why we gave ourselves 20 for having that. 20 because we brought back a mineral. We have no MS pipelines to worry about because the advanced rules. And the next thing on here would be now we'll total this first. So we have 25. And then the next thing is maintenance. So there's maintenance in the game. And the way that works is you look at your counters. Here we have the scout. Now I didn't really go through this. Again, this is not really a basic tutorial. This is more of just I'm doing a playthrough, but I'll try to go through some of this stuff. So here, up here's the type. So this is a scout. The group number is 1. Remember, I told you that all units in this stack have to be scouts of the same technological level, and they are. The E is the class. This will come into play when we are determining who gets to fire first. These numbers, the first one's the attack strength, second one is the defense strength, and then this number, the times 1 here, this is the hull size. It also happens to be the maintenance cost of the vessel, and it also happens to be the how much damage the ship can take. So in this case, we only have 1 scout left, so this is going to be easy. We have we have maintenance cost of 1. I can put it in here. And there may not be a, yeah, I can see it's missing. There should be a whoever did this game. I didn't build this module for Tabletop Simulator, but I may have put these boxes in here. So there really should be a text box here. So there is a maintenance cost of 1. We'll have to remember that to pay for that scout ship. Now this turn order bid. So now that we've completed 1 complete turn, you can actually bid construction points here to be the first player. If you really want to go first, you could bid, say, 10 CPs to try to gain the initiative and move your ships first. Right now, it's not going to matter, and I'm going to do it randomly. So we're going to not place a bid for this guy. He's going to say, I want to place 0. So we had the 1 maintenance for the scout ship. So it's 25 minus 1 is 24. And that's how much we would have to spend. I'm also going to point out that the colony ships, the base stations, have no maintenance cost. So those are free from maintenance charges. The shipyard, does the shipyard have the maintenance cost? No, shipyards do not. They have the times 1, but that's just their hull size. But you're not going to pay maintenance for those shipyards. So now, back to the spreadsheet. So now we have 24 CPs that we can spend. You don't have to spend any if you don't want to. You could carry over all 24 to the next turn. I don't recommend that, but you certainly could do that. So you can buy technology, and technology, let's see, here's our technology sheet. Actually, this is our technology sheet, I believe. Yeah, so if you look at the technology sides, and these must be built in order. Look at the upper left-hand first block where it says technology ship size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In order to build size 3 ships, you would first have to build the size 2 ships. You start at 1. So here I'm going to say the yellow player who sees that he's in a bit of a challenge here, he's going to spend 10 CPs on ship size 2. So let's go ahead and record that. So technology spending, we're going to spend 10, and we just purchased ship size 2 technology. So what I'm going to do is come down here to the bottom of this sheet, and here's the ship size. And you see that we have spent 2 now, so we can build ship size 2. And if we look back up at the research chart, I think it is this one. Yeah, see, ship size 2 can build now destroyers and bases. So we can build bases if we want to, and destroyers. So now we've spent 10. We still have 14 that we can spend. And I'll also note that I can only purchase 1 level of technology in the current economics phase. So I couldn't purchase ship size 2 and then spend 15 more to build ship size 3 in the same economics phase. So that there's that to note. So I still have 14 left to spend. Now I could build let's see if I can find the destroyer. And I don't know if it's inside of here. Let's take a look inside. Yeah, it would be in here. So there's battleships, battle cruisers, there's a destroyer. So what I would do is I'd find DD1 here, and this is, if I can do this correctly, I think I do want to purchase a destroyer. Let's take a look at the Let's see. Is it the reference chart? Size 2. I'm looking for the cost of this ship. I think it's the, like I said, that number, the whole size down there, I believe is the cost. I'm just looking to see if it's repeated on one of these other forms to make it easier to see. So I'm still looking. I could have sworn the ship costs were on these sheets somewhere. I don't see it, which is kind of weird. Uh, da, da, da. Yeah, so I'm guessing it's the whole value if I remember correctly. I don't want him having a brain glitch here. So we are going to build a destroyer. Now we have to build it where we have a shipyard, and shipyards are limited into what they can build. So this shipyard, remember, there's actually 4 shipyards here, so we can build up to 4 one-sized hull ships, or we can build 1 4-size hull ship. So here we're going to choose to build a DD size 1, and the cost of that thing, I guess it's 1. I think it's the whole size. That doesn't sound right, and I don't know why I can't remember this. I've played this game tens of thousands of times, and every time I try to, oh no, there it is. Okay, I thought I was going crazy. Here's the cost right here. So yeah, it's 9 to build the destroyer. I don't know why I didn't remember that. So it's 9 to build that destroyer. So that was 9. So we've spent 10 on technology, 9 on the ship. So that's 19. And 19 from 24 is going to leave us with 5. So I'm just going to carry over. Oops, what am I doing? I'm typing in the sheet here. I'm just going to carry over I think I deleted the 9 I just spent. I'm going to carry over the 5. And that will be our CPs remaining. So we'll put that down here. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and put that up here on the carryover from last turn. We'll just take that over into the next turn. And so that would be the collect. We've done basically everything I think here. That's what I'm trying to make sure. So and like I said, each player would go through these steps in the economic phase simultaneously once you learn the game, just to speed things up. You would do it in this order. Note that I did collect the mineral income as we were playing, but that was just to speed things up too. I'm so used to playing it that way. You would actually collect it here though in the economics phase where you would cash in that 5 mineral to add it to your sheet. There's no pipelines. We paid the maintenance. We did not put in a bid for player order. We purchased our units and techs. We placed them and increase colonies. Well, there's no colonies for the yellow player to increase yet, so we would not do that. So now let's go to the blue player and look at his sheet. So again, we brought back the mineral and we have Terra, which has 20 CP. So I'll put those in. Now we have maintenance to pay. So it's a little different here for the Terran player because he does have all 3 of his scout ships surviving. So 1, 2, 3, he's got to pay maintenance on that. So we would come back up here and put our maintenance for, and again, I'm going to have to go back and correct this, but this block is missing. So we do have 3 maintenance to pay, and we're not going to bid anything on the turn order. So we have 25, and 25 minus 3 would leave us with 22 CPs to spend with. So let's go ahead and take a look at the technology chart. And well, that's actually right here. And again, this is just a reference for here's your technology. You can increase the ship size, your attack values, defense, tactics, movements, shipyards, terraforming, all that good stuff. So we've got 22, and I think we're going to, what do we want to do? And here you can see what some of this technology would do for us. I don't know. We don't have fighters in this game. And this actually tells you what the technologies do. So we just saw that we increase our ship size to 2. We can build destroyers and bases. And the blue player may want to do that. We could also increase our tactics. So what that would do is, like I said, that would give us a better shot at firing first in combat. And firing in combat's not simultaneous. You definitely have a firing order. So you could take your opponent out before he fires off a shot. This is a good one too. Terraforming, you can colonize the barren worlds. That would be helpful. Once you get into deep space, you'll start discovering barren planets and you can colonize those. Exploration 1, that would let you peek at a hex before you enter it. You saw the black hole. This would have come in handy. Of course, that has to go into a cruiser, which we can't build yet. It takes ship size 3 to build those things. So I think for now, we're going to have player 1, the blue player, is going to follow along, and he's going to go to ship size 2 as well. So we're going to spend 10 on ship size. We will show that we now have ship size 2, and we can build bases and destroyers as well. So we still have 12 that we can spend. So if we come back over to our ship counter, we are going to build another colony ship. So that's going to cost us 8. So far ship spending is at 8. So then we're going to build a colony ship. We'll just grab one of these and drag it over to our home world. Hoping to colonize rapidly. So we've spent 18. 18 from 22 is going to leave us 4, and we're gonna hold there. So we'll keep our 4 remaining CPs. They'll carry over, and so we have completed the economics phase for both sides. So again, I kind of went through it just without stepping it here with the marker, so I didn't do it one at a time. But each side did do that. And when both sides have completed the economic phase sequence here, then you just simply go back to turn number 1 on the turn track. So you go through 3 rounds of move, combat, explore, and then you'll do the economics phase again. So we are now back to the determining who will go first. And we'll do that again by rolling the D10, as no one put in a bid to become the first player. Now, if you're playing this opposed again with another person, if neither side bid to become the first player, then the player who had the initiative last turn would continue to hold the initiative. So if the yellow player didn't place a bid to become the first player, the blue player didn't place a bid to become the first player. So in this turn 2, or this second round here, the blue player would go first again because he was the one who had the initiative last time. So it may not be a bad idea just to bid $1 or something, or a CP, just to try to get the initiative if you're playing opposed. Here again, playing solitaire, I'm not worried about it. We're just kind of playing through this and learning as we go. So that's it. I just wanted to go through a first complete round, if you will, which again, a complete round or a complete turn, overall turn in this would be 3 of these phases of move, combat, explore, an economics phase, and then you would start over again. So we'll end it here. If you have any questions or you saw me do something wrong, which is entirely possible, let me know in the comments down below. And I will continue along with this digital playthrough of Space Empires 4. And I hope we get the studio back together relatively soon. If not, I don't mind using Tabletop Simulator. It's how I started. And honestly, I think I may go back into using Tabletop Simulator more on the channel here. So let me know your thoughts on that as well below. That's it. We will end it here. And as always, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. And I look forward to seeing you back here next time.